he do the chores. He served his family. First he said, he does what any ordinary man amongst you do. So it means it was a practice of all the men to help their wives. Okay? And so he would help with the chores. All right? And light chores, and he would attend to himself. He wouldn't burden them with things that he could do himself. Like he would mend his own socks. Right? All right? Mend his own garment. Take this and do this for me. And, you know. That's how men can do that. You know what I'm saying? All right? All right, so you help them, alhamdulillah. You know, and look out after them. I mean, it's beautiful because the Messenger of Allah did it. But of course, it's understood. You won't be able to do that all the time. And sisters got to understand you ain't going to do it all the time. But every now and then kick in. Like that's why I said when needed. When it's needed. Let me help you with that. Let me do this. I'll take care of that. All right. It can be small things, it can be big things. Especially during the time of the Prophet, it wasn't no big thing to help around the house. But the chores was like it. Today the chores can be, whew. So all the stuff be going on in our houses and stuff, man. Woo, man, you need to hire somebody to come do that. Fixing stuff and sinks and something, go bad and man. Woo, I'll do that chore, man. They call the refrigerator guy. I'll pay for it. That's helping though, alhamdulillah. The thing is, brothers, we don't need to neglect those things, inshallah, okay? Okay. Okay, the main rights of the husband over the wife. Okay? And the main rights that the brother or the husband have over his wife. Now remember, we're talking about righteous people, man. People have talked about, people have character, people, brother and sister. Okay? So the rights of the husband over the wife, number one, respect and recognition of his authority over her. And that rattles sometimes the women. What can I tell you? Look at the message of Allah. Look what Allah said, and most women understand that. Men are the protectors and the maintainers. The protector, he's the manager. And women, Allah has given one, favored one over the other in terms of being that person that's responsible for the household. He's the leader. You got to respect that. No, we the same. We all the same, and I got this. Hold it. Take it easy. Take it easy. That ain't your job. Okay, roles. And we live in a society where roles are all messed up and mixed up. And no, it's not like that. Okay? So this is important. That's why when you read the hadiths in Bukhari, Muslim, in the hadiths, and so many hadiths from the mouth of the tongue of the Messenger of Allah, telling the women, you got to submit. You got to your husband. It can be your parents, your help. Why you think the Prophet said that? There's a great rights over you. And he warned us at his farewell speech. SubhanAllah. See? He said, hey, be careful of how you deal with the women. He told us that. Be careful of how you deal with the women. Man. Take it easy with the women. Be nice to them and whatnot. But he also told the women, alhamdulillah, remember, your husband have great rights over you. Okay? And so he always reminded, all throughout the hadith, that they're there. Okay? And you don't need no whole lot of fatwa to make those things clear. So sometimes we find a lot of conflict in the marital relationships because, again, roles are not understood. And that's why we have to continue to teach. We have to teach. We have to hear this more and more. Right? But it's not a thing of trying to, impose yourself, but it's the rights that Allah give you. It's the rights that Allah gave you. Allah gave the women rights. Allah gave the men rights, okay? And so again, that respect and that recognition of his leadership, okay? And the obedience to that leadership, okay? And this is why the Prophet ﷺ said, the best women, those who, when you look at them, you're pleased. And when you tell them to do something, they do it, man. Samitna wa ta'na, if it's not haram or unreasonable, okay? All right? That's right. And then when you and when you leave, alhamdulillah, they protect their honor and your property. I mean, respect. Okay? So that's the first right. Okay, respect and recognition of his leadership. Number 2, to facilitate his sexual desires. That's always the top of the list in every book of fiqh. Top of the list, man, to facilitate his sexual desires. You know? All right? And so that's his right. That's why he called, that's why the prophet wanted the sisters, the women, to be mindful of that. Men got desires. Their desires stronger than women, man. And that's why Allah's wisdom allowed men in Islam to legally have more than one wife. Because it's stronger. Now this. It's the wisdom of Allah. It's the guidance of Allah. Allah's law. You know. Okay? But of course, you know, there's conditions for all of that, though. All right? But the desires, but of course, as I already mentioned, the women, they have right to that. Sex too. Okay? So we have to make sure we fulfill each other's, you know, desires. Number 3, not allow anyone in his house in his absence. You know? Not allow anyone in his house in his absence. Allah forbade you allow a strange man in your house. See, a lot of times we just focus on that part. And that's true. That's the basis of it. Not allow any strange man and a non-mahram man in your house. Not there. Because you know what can happen? You know, 2 people alone, you know, man and woman, shaitan third party. Man into your house, your wife is there. You know, what is he doing here? Okay? You know? Even brother-in-laws, in-laws. The Prophet said death. No. Okay? But it also means even you know, women that your husband don't have a, you know, he's leery of, suspicious of. I don't want her in my house. You like her, she all with you, but I'm not feeling her. She's a troublemaker, maybe. Maybe you don't want to say that to her, but maybe you know some things she don't know. You're trying to cover her fault, but you don't want her in the house. That's cool. I've seen her do some things, I've heard some things, but I don't want to say that about her. Backbite her, but I wouldn't care for her being in there. So you got to respect that. That's his house. You know, that's the deen. That's the deen. All right. This is the teachings of our prophet. So you honor your husband by respecting that particular right. Okay, the house. All right. In fact, that is guarding the husband's absence. What Allah would have you guard. In the ayah, you see, the devout woman, you know, is obedient to Allah and then her husband, and she protects and guards in her husband's absence. What Allah would have her guard. His honor. Don't let nobody in my house. Don't let it be said, man, that lady, every day she got a different dude in the house. Husband working hard, and everything. But this is what the society does. But, you know, human beings. You know, human beings. And I'm sure in the society of the Prophet, that stuff was happening. Okay? And so to circumvent, you know, the fitna of adultery and slander, keep that away. No suspicion. Okay? All right. So the wife got to be mindful of that, you know, protecting her husband's honor and protecting her own honor and whatnot, because she'll be slandered. Okay? Number 4, gratitude to her husband. Okay? And be content. Be content and kind. Gratitude. You know? And I'm going to tell you a story. Okay? You know this story. You know, from our tradition. You know. The Prophet Ibrahim, alayhi salam. This is a good example, man. He come by to visit his son Ismail. Ismail wasn't home. So his wife, so Ibrahim, you know, make a long story short, asked his wife, how are things? You know, where's my son Ismail? Oh, he's out hunting, he's out, you know, taking care of his business. Well, how are things at the house? And she went to complaining. You know, complaining instead of being grateful. Just complaining. That's the essence of the hadith, of the story. He said she was complaining about her husband. And we know Ismail was a good man. He was the prophet of God. But she's complaining. He didn't do this. We don't have no food. We don't have this. We don't have that. He said, oh, okay. Well, look, when he comes home, give him my salam and tell him to change the door, the mat at the door, to change the gate on the fence or something like that. So when Ismail came home, Ismail said, and she told him, we had a visitor today, and so she described him. And so Ismail said, well, did he say anything? Once he realized it was his father, right? It was his father, Did he say anything? Did he leave any advice, any message for me? He said, yes. He said for you to change the threshold. What's that? Threshold. Okay, yeah, okay. SubhanAllah. Okay, and so Ismail knew that his father was saying, get rid of her, man. Divorce her, man. She's a nag. She's an ungrateful woman, man. She's married to a pious man, and he's struggling, and she still complains. She's not satisfied. So, listen, and everybody know that story, right? And be content, man, with what you got, alhamdulillah. Just pray to Allah, give him more and give you more. And so don't be nagging, especially you got a good man. Same thing with the brother. We mentioned earlier about her rights over him, that he be grateful for her. She cooks for him. She cooks, and she don't have to do that, by the way. You don't have to cook for him. Most of the scholars say she don't have to cook. That's why when my Zoja say they ain't cooking, I say, mashallah. I know I can go to if he's ready and pick up food now. I'll be like, cool. And I say, it's okay, baby. Don't worry about it. Don't sweat it. Not give them that. But alhamdulillah, you know that they don't have to do, but they do that. And that's what Umar said. When Umar, the story of Umar, can I tell you the story again? Yes. SubhanAllah, man. In our history, it's good for everybody. One of the brothers having a problem with his wife. She's going off on him and yelling at him and disrespecting him. And so he goes to Umar with a heavy heart, to get some advice. And so when he knocks on the door, when he gets there, he hears the wife going off on Umar. This, that, and the other. Going off, man. So he said, oh, he's going through the same thing I'm going through. So I don't need his advice. So he walks away. And so Umar finally comes out and says, yo, Akhi, Assalamu alaikum. Did you want to see me? He said, yeah, but I come to get your advice because I have some marital problems. And my wife, she did this, that, and the other. But I said, you got the same problem. So how you going to help me, man? You see, very beautiful story. Umar said, yeah, well, I tolerate that. Because, hey, she cooks for me, man. She washes my clothes. She takes care of my children. You see? So I tolerate that. And then the brother said, me too. So let me go on home. SubhanAllah. Okay, alhamdulillah. All right. So moving forward, alhamdulillah, gratitude, to the husband and being content and kind, alhamdulillah. Doing things to please your husband, alhamdulillah, these are like secondary kind of like, duties, all right? But nonetheless, they are important, all right? Doing things to please your husband, because remember the hadith where the Prophet ﷺ said, the best women are those who what? When a man looks at her, he's what? Please, man, you want to please your husband, yeah. Because when you do that, that's a good deed for you. Every time he's pleased, you do something that makes him pleased, Allah's going to reward you for that, man. Allah's going to reward you for it, man. It's a win-win situation. Always, okay? So doing things to please your husband, tending to his children, looking after his children, alhamdulillah, he expects, the wife to do that. Like the hadith say, all of you is a shepherd. All of you is a shepherd. All right? And all of you on the day of judgment will be questioned about their flock. And so the ruler or the leader of the community is a shepherd over the community and the people. And the father and the husband is the shepherd over his family. And the wife is the shepherd over the kids. You see what I'm saying? So all of you is a shepherd, and all of you will be responsible before Allah for the flock. You see? So all of these hadiths and statements from our Prophet are very significant. Very significant, alhamdulillah, with regards to the whole idea of dealing with the children. So tending to your husband's children, yeah, that's your duty too. Alhamdulillah. All right, it's your duty to make sure that these kids are, you know, getting the lessons that the father wants you to give them, you know, when he's gone, teaching them the ayats and the sunnah and so forth and so on, okay? Guarding his property, alhamdulillah, if your husband is wealthy and you guard his interest. You don't want nobody abusing his property, you know what I'm saying? So you guard it, protect it, like you protect your own, because it is yours, because he's going to give you from it, inshallah, if he's a good man. He ain't stingy, okay? But you guard his property, his money, his valuables, and let nobody come to the house and take his stuff. And no, you protect it. No, you guard his property. You fight for it. No, you ain't getting that. That belongs to my husband. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Permission to leave the house. Great right. Women should not be going all over without permission to husband. All right? And that can manifest itself in several ways. Sometimes a husband, you know, a man give his wife general permission to leave and go work and do what she got. No problem. She has permission, general permission and whatnot. You see? All right? This is okay. All right? But for sisters to just leave and don't tell her husband what you, or request, can I go here, can I go there? I'll be here, I'll be there. And they just, I ain't got to tell him nothing. I'm independent. Lie. Your husband's supposed to know where you at. How he going to protect you? How he going to protect you? The men are the protectors in the minute. So you going all over the place, he don't know where you at, what time you coming home, and that ain't right. So his right is, you know, baby, where you going, sweetheart? Can I go so and so? And good sisters, good wives, they're gonna ask, you said, all right if I go, and at my friend's house in Queens or whatever. Okay, baby, is it all right if I do this? And is it all right if I have someone over the house? And that's good adab, man. That's how we do things, man. You see, that's how we do things, okay? But it just run all over the place, unaccountable, and your husband don't know. You, Allah forbid, you somewhere your husband don't want you to be. I don't want you to go there. You do what I want to do. This is not right. This is not from Islam. This is not from our tradition. And so we have to be mindful of that and try to, alhamdulillah, convince him to let you go. Soften him, work your stuff on him, work your charm and get him to change it. Now you can do that? Okay, all right, baby, go ahead. That's what you got to do. You got to use your womanly stuff, man. But just don't say, because you're not respecting him when you do that. You have to respect his position. He's supposed to protect you. It's dangerous out there. You remember the prophet? Who did he walk home? Who did he walk home? Sophia. He walked her home, right? Because it was dark, right? And she lived on the outskirts, right? He didn't let her go by herself. So we should always be concerned about those kinds of things. And women, our wives, have to understand that and whatnot. And give us that. Alhamdulillah, all right? Rather than running around, they're independent of us. No, they're not independent. They're connected. They're connected to us, man. Once you get married, subhanAllah, you're connected. No, you just can't do things like that. And we have to be mindful of our example, because then we end up teaching our daughters and our children this kind of bad behavior. They can grow up and do the same thing. They can be independent of the husband, and they do what they want to do. That's no good. It's messed up. We have a lot of problems like that in our community. Yes, we do. And whatnot. And so we have to make these adjustments and take it back to center, alhamdulillah. So that is a right that the husband has, alhamdulillah. It doesn't mean, like I said, every time she goes to the store, she got to, no, she got to do what she got to do. So that's that general permission, alhamdulillah. But it's going places, going out of town, things like that there, visiting sisters and relatives in other cities and boroughs. This is where I'll be at. Is that okay? No, alhamdulillah. Go ahead. I'll pick you up even, or I'll meet you there or whatever. It's okay, all right? But again, we have to respect that right. Is it clear? Yes. And that's basically how we practice it anyway. Y'all know this stuff. It ain't nothing new to you, maybe to the young people, all right? But the sisters are aware, brothers are aware, alhamdulillah. Avoid talking to non-mahram men. Okay? Avoid talking to men. Yeah. And this may not be a big thing to people, but it's a big thing to men. Most men, if a man ain't got no ghira, you know what ghira is? Ghira is that protective jealousy that Allah put in men for their women. You see? And so then, no man, of any, Islamic standing, whatnot, would tolerate, another man talking to his wife. We don't play that. We just don't play that. We're not excessive, but we just don't. See? So a woman got to respect that. Business is one thing. Okay, you talk to you got a business, you got to talk to me, no problem. But what did the Quran say? That when you interact with non-mahram men, strange men that are not your father, your husband, your brothers, your family, he said, the Prophet said, when you have to talk with them in business, speak with a firm voice. Don't be too soft. Don't be too soft of speech when you communicate with men, because that's he who has some disease in his heart. I think she likes me, man, Yeah. And some women are like that. I get it all. I see it all. It happens all the time. You go places and people just be nice. How you doing? All friendly. And oh, man. You see what I'm saying? But I know better. Whatnot, you see? So you're responding. Can you try to be nice to people and hurry and get out of the way? All right? But women, they don't mean nothing. They're just indiscreet. That's just how they are. So what the Prophet revealed in the Quran and told us, though, be mindful of that. See? So watch your speech. Don't be too soft to speak. Your soft speech, we'll come back to that. It's reserved for your husband. But your firm speech, business. Let's talk business. We don't be laughing and playing and no nonsense. It's a no nonsense kind of relationship in the business, in the business world when it comes to our women. So sisters got to be mindful of that, okay? Because a man's right, a husband's right. So, okay, the ghira, the jealousy, the protective of jealousy, and like rightfully so, it protects his family, man. Okay, and if you don't have that, man, some consider you not a man. You don't care. You don't care who, like the Western people. They don't care who flirt with their wife. They be swapping wives, right? Come get her weekend away. You go away this weekend with my wife, and next week I go. That's what they do. You notice what they do.
No doubt.
It's part of it. And so, but we're not like that. No, we're very protected. No. That's why all these hadiths about, being in private, what I'm saying, or going to the man's home and not being there, or or you out in public, man, that you don't be, looking at men or having conversations with men, or even talking about men. See? All right? Talking about men, in front of your husband. How he look, oh, he's a handsome, and boo, boo, boo. Don't do that, sisters. Don't never do that. He's so, no, don't do that. That's not proper. No. The man wants to be looked at as the man. And you talk about him, and you praise him, and but not somebody else in his presence. Men don't like that. You know what I'm saying? You read the different books, and they'll tell you that. This is a quality that we have. Definitely one of the Islamic qualities. What they call it, ghira. You see? That protective jealousy. Protect, your women folk. Alhamdulillah.